Hey, this is Harold, and in today's video, we'll be going over a monthly review of February 2026. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. So, in this month, I had a net P&L of 3,135. I don't fully count this P&L just because there are some evaluations in here as well. The trade win percentage is 60%. This one I do count as a true win percentage just because the evals that I take versus the funded trades that I take are pretty much exactly the same. I don't really deviate from my plan. I don't do different types of strategies based off evals or fundeds. The average win to loss was 1.98, meaning I averaged about a 1 to 2 RR per trade. Right, pretty much every week was green except for week 3. Going into the reports, looking at the performance, I had a 60% win rate, average hold time of 11 minutes, average planned R multiple of 2.55, and a realized R multiple of 0.57. I don't really understand how this math adds up, but this is something I definitely need to take into account because the trades that I'm planning have almost a 1 to 3 RR, right? But I'm only extracting about 0.57 R, which is not a lot. I think that if I were to just hold my trades a little bit longer and I have a little bit better TP strategy, I can definitely raise this a lot by next month. Now, going into the day and time section of our reports, we took a majority of our trades from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And we are in the West Coast, so the trading market hours start at 6:30 instead of 9:30. Just looking at this data, starting from 8 a.m., I will not be taking any more trades. I realize that the opportunities for breakouts in general are not as good. Start past 8 a.m. Rarely there is a good trade that plays out, and if for some reason I'm on my computer, like I'll take it. But even this trade that I took here, I remember it very clearly. It was not a good opportunity. Market was chopping. It pretty much faked me out, and I ended up calling it after that. So yeah, I had a majority of my winners past in between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and a 25% win rate starting from 6 a.m. I'm still going to be taking trades from 6:30 a.m. to 7 just because the market is volatile. And if I plan a little bit better, these were the days I didn't plan as well. The days I took a trade from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. If I plan a little bit better and I get better at situational analysis, I think I'll be a little bit more confident taking these trades. Let's see. Trade duration, not too important. The other report that I look at are my tags, and mainly the key level tag right here. So these are all key levels that I've created tags for, like current day high slash low, daily. This is a previous daily value area breakout, line of least resistance, pre-market highs, monthly value area breakout, break in, resistance, support, weekly value area breakout, break in. To me, this is the most important section for my review. And I believe this because I truly believe that where you take your trade is more important than how or what you do, right? Whether that's a breakout or a reversal, I think where you take that trade is so much more important because if you're taking a trade at a non-key level, a level that institutions aren't looking at, you're bound to just get bad price action. You're bound to get bad moves that don't complete, right? But if you take a trade at a good level, you're more likely to see these trades follow through, whether you're taking a reversal, whether you're taking a breakout, momentum trade, right? scalp, day trade, whatever it is, you're bound to get better opportunities. So looking at this data, the weekly and the daily value area breakouts and break-ins were the most profitable for me, and I had the highest win percentage, as well as the most amount of volume. I took 4 trades for the previous day value area breakout, and I took 4 trades for a weekly value area break-in. I took 15 total trades this month. I don't know if I went over that with you guys, but I took 15 total trades. So this was half. These 2 inflection points were half of my trades for the month, and they also generated me the most amount of profits, right? So going into next month, these are areas that I'm going to be looking out for a lot more carefully as well, knowing that they generated me the most amount of profits. And if you compare the previous day value area breakout and the weekly value area breakout, the weekly value area breakout had the highest average win as well. So I was taking home the most amount of profits on per win basis from the weekly value area break-in. I got to keep in mind that these trades have been following through a lot better, and I think it also has to do with my confidence. I have a lot more confidence taking these trades compared to a previous day value area breakout where I'm only averaging $375 per win, which is a little less than what I'm usually risking. I'm usually risking around $300 to $400, so I'm taking home about 1 to 1 R here, about 1 to a little over 1.5 R here. We also did have the biggest average win from the monthly value area breakout, but this is only one. I only took 1 total trade this month from it, so it's just not enough data to back up that this truly was the highest average winning trade. But as I am getting better at reading volume profiles and just utilizing volume profiles, I find myself deviating away more from like pre-market high levels, current day high and low levels, support and resistance only if it aligns for multiple days, and especially if it's in confluence with my volume profile value areas. That's usually when I use these levels. Even the line of least resistance is when it's in confluence with my other value area levels. So that is pretty much it in terms of statistics. I don't do too much. I look at these stats and I say, hey, what can I improve on for next month? I'll also go over my trades from last month and just see like the notes that I wrote down and see like how I can improve. But yeah, it's not anything too crazy. I do try to keep it a little bit minimal so that I'm not giving myself too much information and I have a solid plan on what I want to work on, right? But just to give you guys an example, I guess I didn't journal this trade. This is the one and only trade I did not journal. Alright, just to give you guys an example, I kind of keep my journaling short for the winning days just because there's not too much to write about. But I'll have like these 4 points right here: trade idea, what can I improve, what type of zone did I use, and the relationship between the buyers and sellers before, during, and after my entry. I found that these 4 topics are the most important things to be writing down, right? Why I took the trade, and if I took the trade, what can I do to improve, right? Even when you win a trade, there are times when you can improve, but it's hard to see that. That's why like journaling when you're taking losers is a lot more important as well, so that you can start to eliminate what you're doing wrong. What type of zone did I use? Obviously I write it in here as well in my tags, but I also like to write it in my review and my journaling because I can get a little bit more in depth about which zones I actually use and how I use them in confluence with each other. I found that using zones in confluence with each other are so much more powerful than just using one level, right? And then just analyzing the relationship between the buyers and sellers. This is more of This is more of just getting repetitions in for myself, getting used to recognizing what the buyers are doing, what the sellers are doing before my breakout happens, right? So there's that. And then something I will do is I have a here something every day. I also have a plan, right? I create a plan. So I have like the notes for the day, important economic events, if we have any red folder news, if we have any speeches coming up, pre-market price action, which is I'll take a screenshot of what's happening before the market opens, and then I have a pre-market preparation and planning section where I kind of talk about what happened previous days, what's happening pre-market, how I can use this to create a plan for myself to the upside and to the downside. Live planning is like if I'm in a trade, I'll write like I'm in long 69.67, stop is 69.65, break even 69, I don't know, 75, and then target, I'll write my target 69.8. I don't, and then I'll write like these confirmations out, like stacked. So on, right? Like this is kind of like my live planning, and I get to see what my real confirmations are, not just in my head, but if I write it out, now I can see real time. Oh, is what I'm seeing correct? Is this looking is it actually looking good, or was I just in my own head making things up? And sometimes I will see that I'm just making things up. I'm seeing what I want to see and not what I truly am seeing, right? And this helps me to sometimes just get out of a trade right away and eliminate and say, oh, dude, this is not what I'm trying to get into. I think I just got a little bit anxious and I got too aggressive on my entry, and I forced myself into a trade, right? And then we'll have other sections like here. This is not a good example, guys. Let me show you guys. I guess I just was not writing much this week, right? So this is a good example right here, right? So I have a goal. This is a goal for the day. If I found myself making a lot of mistakes, I will write this goal, and just to remind myself, and I'll keep it here because I'm constantly looking at this section when I'm trading, and I'll be reminded of what I need to make sure I don't do, right? Reminders. This is something where I actually change. Well, from now on, I will be changing based off my monthly review, right? So whatever I found in my monthly review, I'll be changing this so that I'm reminded every day for the next month. Segment is I'll segment every trading session into 30-minute increments. So 6:30 to 7, 7 to 7:30, 7:30 to 8. And I'll write down what is actually happening during these segments, right? And if I learned anything, if I need to change anything, and if I missed any potential trades worth noting or I want to add to my playbook, these are the trades that I'll be putting in here. I'll be screenshotting them and I'll be writing down my trades. So that is it for the day. That's the end of the video. I'm trying to keep it as short as possible. I'm not going to be going over any of the trades that I'll be reviewing, just because almost every video that I've made so far has every trade that I've taken this week, right? I post every day, so you guys already see the type of trades that I'm taking, so there's no point in reviewing the trades with you guys. Going into this next month, something I want to work on is the daily plan. Something I want to work on is my tweaked TP system. I have a new TP system. It's not really different from what I was using before, but it's just more fixed R ratio TP taking. I don't really trail with the structural base. I trail with a fixed RR based system. So every time it hits one R, I take my profits. But towards the end of my trades, I was getting too emotional with it. So when it was like 1 or 2 points away, I would start like holding on to my trail, like moving it based off my emotions. I'm not going to be doing that anymore. It's going to be very fixed. I'm just going to leave it at that and let it play out, because through my data, I found out that I'm taking a lot of my trades end up playing through, but because I'm moving my trail way too tight, I've been getting stopped out. So I gotta remind myself to keep the same TP system that I've tweaked, right? Another thing is now I'm only going to be taking trades from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. And something I want to remind myself is to keep practicing situational analysis. Keep practicing situational analysis, right? What happened yesterday? What happened the day before? And how does this all come together with today's action, right? So those are the 3 things I'm going to be working on to help me improve for the next month. And I hope that you guys can follow along with me. I hope that this brought some light onto a different way of just monthly reviewing, right? I guess it doesn't have to be so long. It doesn't have to be so grueling. Keeping it short and simple really keeps it easier for me to just be more consistent. That's the goal, right? To be more consistent, not to have so much output in one single day, but do something every day, little by little. Thank you for joining in on this video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.